Here is where he said, I don't think we should have billionaires.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. Presumptive New York City Democratic mayoral nominee, Zohran Mamdani, making some waves, a lot of them, in the business community with some comments on the world's richest people over the weekend. This is what he had to say.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
Mamdani hoping to lead New York City, which tops the worldwide list of cities with the most billionaires. I'd like to keep them here if possible. New York has 123 billionaires, according to Forbes. Its richest resident is...
Wait, what? No. I guess that's it. I have to vote for Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa illegally. Oh, no. Streamers contribute to inequality. Oh, no. No.
Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who notably endorsed Mamdani's opponent, Andrew Cuomo, in last week's Democratic election.
Maybe he means like Netflix. Guys, that's that's photoshopped. Really? There are people who legitimately think he said that? You're trying to make sense of a very obviously photoshopped meme that came from Hoscord? That's crazy. Come on, guys. We're cooked, man. We're cooked.
Or at least the primaries there of all this. I don't know. I was also just separately, a couple things. Disturbed by the globalized, what do you say that just?
He was so disturbed, he can't even say it. Okay. This guy's a real Jew hater. I forget what he said, but it was some Arabic. Okay. I don't. What is he? The globalize the empanada or something? I don't know. What was it? What is it? What did he say? Globalize the enchilada? Yeah. When I'm so mad, but I can't even remember what I'm mad about. When I'm so scared that simply imagining the word in my mind terrifies me. That's what it is. That's what happened. He's so scared. He's so terrified that it took him, a whole minute to figure out what the word was.
So just separately, a couple things. Disturbed by the globalized, what did you say that just made me crazy over the weekend? Did you see when he said globalized? He didn't say globalized infidel.
Yeah.
Infidel, but he did say
Intifada, man. Intifada. That is awesome. I don't know what it is. I don't know. What is it that people just can't say the word? I guess. I mean, even some of my friends also have a hard time saying it. And same with Mamdani as a last name. I don't, depending on the person's ideological leanings, I give people a lot of breathing space on this kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know how it's just so difficult. I mean, Morning Joe said infantada. You can't say French names. You can't talk. I mean, dude, first of all, this is not even because it's a foreign language. Okay. This means that he just hasn't heard it before. That's my point. Because if he had heard it enough times, he would at least be able to pronounce it. Okay. For example, there are French terms that I normally probably would have a hard time saying, but because I've heard it a million times over, I can clearly say it correctly. Islamo-gauchism is one of those examples. Okay? Le wokisme, Islamo-gauchism. You hear it enough times and you can say it. Hors d'oeuvres. How the would you normally read that word? It would be very difficult for you to read that word. C'est la vie is another one, right? But because you've heard it so many fucking times, you know how to kind of say it. Intifada is the same thing. My point is, if he was hearing this all the time and it was such a terrifying statement, I think he probably would be able to say it correctly.
That he wouldn't condemn it. He was asked 3 times by her.
Right.
which is, some people say is anti-Semitic, some people say is anti-Zionist. Unfortunately, they get conflated either way. Right. And so by default, I would think.
He's like, I don't like it anyway. I don't like it either way, I
think you could.
He wouldn't shoot down the speculation that he's an anti-Semite.
Right.
That's
and I don't really understand why he didn't, unless he is.
What? What are you? You're literally admitting that there is this conflation happening. There is this conflation happening that is like cynical, and then also saying, and he should still condemn it. To what? To what end? Like, at this point, my man is, as Yugopnik in the chat said, doubling down on a word he admittedly doesn't know. Okay? While simultaneously saying how angry it made him. Doesn't know the word, can't say the word, literally openly says, well, some people say it's anti-Semitic, some people say it's anti-Zionist, but he should just condemn it then. Why? Why should he condemn it then? You don't even know what he should be condemning. You don't even know what you're angry about. Why should anybody have to listen to you? What the is this? Who made you the boss of everybody? I swear to God, bro, white people have this sense of authority and this confidence whenever they talk about and yes, Jewish people are white in this process, holy where it's just like, excuse me, you should be at the mercy of my fears, no matter how stupid, no matter how racist they are. It's like, no, you, the do you mean? What are you talking about? You don't even know what this word is, and you're trying to whip yourself up into a frenzy, dude. Are you kidding me? Zohran Mamdani hasn't said anything negative about Jewish people or cheered on their suffering, yet these four demand he condemn such rhetoric. They, however, all have expressed support for a government that's committing a genocide and killed Americans. Will they condemn it? Republicans and establishment Democrats demand that Zohran Mamdani condemn the things he's never said. Meanwhile, all those demanding Mamdani do so are never asked, even gently, to condemn the current ongoing genocide they are actively supporting. It is that simple. It is that simple. Do you understand? That's it. It's because these literally are trying to create an environment that doesn't exist anymore in public consciousness where, you can't say anything about Israel. You will get attacked. You will get attacked. You will be mercilessly and ruthlessly smeared. Yeah, this was, we watched this before. This lady is just basically saying, like, Israel should get to do a genocide. Shut the fuck up. Might is right. And Big Joel had this take, which I liked. The most odd tendency for pro-Israel types these days is this kind of performative madness, just yelling at us in this desperate tone that morals don't matter. We don't do moral stuff anymore. Very sad, honestly. It's so weird. By the way, I thought calling Israel a colonial state is blood libel. In this video, she literally says they are, and it's good. Exactly. The explicit goal is to get us to imagine events that are unfolding as events that already occurred, as though the Palestinians have already been dealt with, and we can just feel a bit stinky about it. Such an odd perspective. Native Americans are full citizens of America now. I wonder what Israelis would think about that arrangement. And there's like ongoing issues with Native Americans that persist in this country as well. And it is after an ethnic cleansing campaign unfolded and was successful in terms of genociding the native population. I'm an Israeli outraged at Biden's betrayal of Israel. Oh, this is, I mean, come on. This is, at this point, showing this lady, I'm not gonna watch this again. It breaks my brain every time I see this. What do you mean? In this context, Jewish people are white. I'm Jewish, and I understand why some people don't consider us white. I do. There are also non-white Jews, though. There are Arab Jews, for example, like the Arab Jews that were coming from Israel. They got shot by a Floridian Jewish person, an Israel defender, because he thought that they were Palestinian. There's Ethiopian Jews as well. My point is, Jewishness as a ethnic or ethno-religious category in the United States of America has long been folded under the white umbrella. Okay, like as far as having institutional power, as far as having proximity to power, it is a part of the in-group. That's why even the most racist politicians will say America was founded on Judeo-Christian values. Back in the day, they didn't used to say that. Okay, can you imagine saying America was founded on Judeo-Christian values in like 1939? Ain't no way. Nobody would say that. Okay, they'd be like, no, America was founded on Christian. I mean, I don't even know if they say America was founded on Christian values, really. Like in the 50s and 60s, even then, they wouldn't say America was founded on Judeo-Christian values. This is a post 9/11 war on terror new narrative. That's it.
You know, there's been, if you go back and look at his history and some of the things he said and some of the things his parents have said, you know, forget about, by the way, there's 123 billionaires in this city. There's close to 1 million people who are Jewish. This is the largest Jewish population
outside of Israel.
Yeah, and they voted for him. So what does that do? What does that do to your narrative? What does that do to your narrative that Zohran Mamdani got the second highest number of Jewish votes in the city, in the most Jewish city on the planet, by the way? I think New York City has more Jewish people in it than Tel Aviv. Or maybe Tel Aviv has more Jewish people now. So what happened? What happened? I mean, dude, Jews in New York have long-standing roots within the city. They have been there for much longer than Israel has existed as a nation state. What are you saying? It is so stupid. You're right. PSA, New York City is not the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. At 1.3 million, it is the largest Jewish population city by anywhere. Jerusalem has a Jewish population of just under 600K, 60% of total. And Tel Aviv, the city, not the region, has about 500K residents total. Well, they don't always vote in their best interest. In the first round, I think Cuomo got a higher number of Jewish votes in the primaries. But I think like when the Lander vote kicks in, which we'll find out tomorrow, like what the final tabulation looks like, he probably will have a higher number of Jewish votes. If you count the metro area, Tel Aviv is number 1, New York City is number 2. In city proper, New York City is number 1, Jerusalem is number 2, LA is number 3, and Tel Aviv is number 4. After the mass exodus of Jews, it won't be New York anymore. Clearly, they'll all fly to Tel Aviv any day now. Any day now, American Jews who have lived in New York, whose families have lived in New York for far longer than Israel has even existed. Any day now, those American Jews are going to be like, Am Israel Chai. This was the moment. This was the moment that I was waiting for. Now I'm going to go live over there. I didn't, even though there is an endless amount of incentives for me to go live there. Okay. First of all, Israel has free healthcare. Okay. Israel has free healthcare. They will subsidize your housing if you move, especially if you move to the West Bank. You can live in a house for free. Better social safety nets overall. So why the won't American Jews move to Israel? I don't know. Maybe because they're American and not Israeli. I don't know. Seems crazy to me, but it feels like there's never been a moment in my life, and it's not because I'm like a particularly woke person, but there's never been a moment in my life where I've met a Jewish American and assumed that this person is Israeli. Okay? I don't understand. Maybe it's because I lived in areas where there are a lot of Jewish people, whether it be New Jersey or whether it be Miami or whether it be Los Angeles. But there has never been a moment where I was like, well, this person is a foreigner. Okay? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it pisses me off. This doesn't mean that like American Jews don't care about Israel. Clearly, plenty of American Jews do care about Israel, but they're still American. Okay? You can say, Hasan, you care about Turkey. I do, but I'm an American citizen. I'm also a Turkish citizen, but I care about America quite a bit. And America's dealings with the Turkish government do not actually factor into my calculation, okay? Ayana Leong Nauer, a 35-year-old Brooklyn bartender who's Jewish and backed Mamdani, said the vote represented New Yorkers, many of them Jewish, saying we care more about having an affordable city than sowing division. And remember, I lived in Turkey for the first 18 years of my life. My whole family lives in Turkey, okay? I have more of a connection to the Turkish nation state by living there than the average American Jew does to Israel, who at most maybe went one time, okay? And even then, it doesn't matter if someone is like, if there was a candidate that was running around being like, I'm a socialist, I want to do free buses, I want to improve I want to build public housing in the state of California, I want to build public housing, I want to combat homelessness in Los Angeles, okay? And then also at the same time, they were like, oh, great example, even though I obviously also recognize this, the Armenian genocide. But they were like, I'm also going to make sure that there's a memorial for the Armenian genocide, like, which I already agree with, that it is a real thing that happened, right? But could you imagine if I was running around and being like, I can't vote for this person because they recognize the Armenian genocide? Like, how psychotic would that be? That is literally what some of these people are doing. And as a matter of fact, I say some, but not the majority, clearly, okay? It's so stupid. Yeah, I'm voting for Eric Adams. After all of this is said and done, I'm voting for Eric Adams because he truly is the number one candidate for the Turkish American voter. Everybody knows it's clear that Zohran is a Turkophobe, okay? And his Turkophobia is glaring. And I need a candidate who is going to defend the Turks. Yep, there it is. That's my guy. I hope this helps you understand how stupid this conversation is, okay? Yeah, can you imagine if I went up to every candidate and was like, do you condemn the PKK? Do you condemn the PKK? Do you condemn the PKK? Do you recognize the Armenian genocide? If you say yes, then you're Turkophobic. You're Turkophobic. You're Turkophobic. You're Turkophobic. You're Turkophobic. You will never win an election. You will never win an election in my city. You know? It's so stupid. I would understandably get laughed out of every goddamn room, okay? But seemingly, you don't even have to be Jewish or even in any way, shape, or form connected to Israel to make these questions be known and make it a prominent fixture of your counter message against this guy. How crazy. This lends itself to anti-Semitic tropes so much it's not even funny anymore. I mean, we have gone past that point. I think people are so deeply brain broken that they're not even considering that side of it. I've warned about this over and over again for the past year and a half at this point. Clearly people don't give a shit. Like they literally are just like, nah, you don't understand. I don't care. Okay.
Out of Israel. Right. And so I don't know.
They so clearly don't care that they're running around with this narrative when clearly the New York Jews that were supposed to be the primary fearful targets here clearly didn't give a shit because it's not real. It's not a real consideration. It's not a real fear. Do you understand? So now you got a bunch of people speaking in their stead. There was a good take in here somewhere where I think it was Ezra Klein who said enough is enough. Like, I didn't vote here. Here's Ezra Klein, who is a liberal Zionist himself, who is one of the most prominent Jewish writers in the United States of America, says he didn't rank Cuomo on his ballot because he was disgusted by how he tried to weaponize Israel and anti-Semitism.
Public life, like, that's a bar I want candidates to be above. But the other thing that, like, actually closed it, that made for me that I would not rank him, was the way he used Israel in the campaign. Like, I'm a Jewish person. I have very, very deep feelings about what is happening in Israel and Gaza. And I found it so cynical, so repulsive, just such a vicious way to weaponize, I thought, both sort of Mamdani's ethnicity, but also, I don't know, what's happening in Gaza is a horror. People should be horrified. Like, the whole thing just struck me as grotesque. And I knew a lot of people for whom it read that way. The thing in the debates where they got into a fight over, like, visiting Israel.
What's the first country you're going to visit?
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I've said in a UJA questionnaire that I believe that you need not travel to Israel to stand up for Jewish New Yorkers. And that is what I will be doing as the mayor. I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever.
Dude, that was such a... that was a gift to Zohran Mamdani. And they thought that that was... Dude, like when that question and that follow-up was presented to him, okay, I think the media still, and I think this is still an ongoing, ever-present problem within both the media and also within our politics in general, where they literally don't recognize what average people think about Israel. They don't recognize how stupid of a question this is, how stupid it is to keep pressing a candidate over and over again. Oh, you won't go to Tel Aviv? Oh, I guess you're anti-Semitic then. Why won't you go to Tel Aviv? Do you hate Jews? Do you like Sabra hummus? How much Sabra hummus have you consumed in the last year? Like they thought this was going to him, okay? Like that question and the follow-ups imply that the people asking those questions literally thought that this would be a major line of attack. And it did the exact opposite. If you cannot understand how out of step, how out of touch mainstream media, local news, and the Democratic and Republican Party as a whole is from broad public sentiment on this issue, this should be the wake-up call. But lucky for us, I guess, it's not. And I say lucky for us, did it work? Because the more they try to jam him up with this, the less time they have focusing on things that actually could change people's opinions. The sharp fall in Democratic voter support for Israel is measured by Gallup is striking, down to just 21%. 21% of the Democrats have a sympathy that lies more with Israel, as opposed to 60% of Democrats that say their sympathies lie with the Palestinians. 21% is still crazy, though. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? If you're over the... Dog, what are you talking about? If you're over the age of 50, this is a question that is like up to even ask someone. If you're over the age of, like, a lot of you guys woke up to the realities, especially as like younger people, without like the tremendous amount of social conditioning that like Israel is the most valuable country on the planet. I have shown you in 2014 when Jessica Ramos literally on her Facebook page wrote Palestine heart. Okay, she wrote Palestine and then put a heart emoji next to it. That was scandalous. Okay, in 2014, that was considered scandalous. Now you got saying death to the IDF at Glastonbury with hundreds of thousands of people in the crowd chanting death to the IDF. This is not the same universe that we live in. No matter how hard the media keeps trying to operate in the previous way of existence, where you couldn't even say, like, I mean, not even globalize the Intifada, you couldn't even recognize Palestinians as a human being. It's over, by the way. It's over. No matter how much, yeah, he's getting clapped, by the way. I know. No matter how much they try to actively go after people who do stuff like this, okay? I mean, they try to do this with Kneecap too. If, for us millennials growing up, if you were not pro-Israel, you were an anti-Semitic terrorist automatically, no questions asked. Yeah, it's done.
Where they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not as a Jewish state?
No,
as a state with equal rights.
He won't say it has a right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very clear.
And his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
Yeah, this was fantastic for him. This got him so much favor because right now, Israel is the number one way, especially given the insane amounts of vitriol that comes your way if you say the truth about it. Israel is seen as like the number one way to communicate that you're an earnest politician. Okay? Like even if you were a scumbag otherwise, you can win tremendous favor and showcase that you are like an honest broker, as Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing, by positioning yourself against Israel. Straight up. That's it. Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, these are people who are using the media landscape and its inability to communicate clearly the horrible situation that Israel is in. Yeah, like it or not, a reason that Palestine has become a litmus test is that it turns out to be a pretty reliable signal that you won't back down on the other stuff either. And again, Matt Duss, very progressive figure. He's at Center for International Policy. But like, Matt Duss and I are not immediately aligned on the issue of Israel. Okay. At different moments, I have criticized Matt Duss's statements about Israel, but he's right. He gets it. He sees it. I mean, and he is far more progressive on this issue than the overwhelming majority of like politicians and the overwhelming majority of like think tank people and the media people. And yet he is still I would say a liberal Zionist for sure. But very clearly, this otherwise untouchable, clear-cut case of chaos, instability, and inequality is no longer seen as that way by the average, by like regular people. It's done. It's over. And it will never change. It will never change. Felix Biederman has a take. Yeah. There's an inevitable outcome when people see videos of parents carrying what was once their child inside several plastic bags and are told to support this or you're anti-Semitic. If you cannot or will not make the obvious connection, I don't need to hear you opine on it. 1,000%. If one's morality is compromised so heavily so they can't recoil and discuss it, a live stream genocide, and those who commit it, they are a husk of a person with poisonous thoughts at best. Also, tell me what conclusion one might draw from our current two-tier punishment system. A-list celebrities can say any number of things and get the ADL donation and Auschwitz tour package. Private citizens who wear the wrong necklace get fired and publicly denounced. Yeah. You can literally Sig Heil on national television on the day of the inauguration twice. Not once, twice. But as long as you're pro-Israel, ain't nobody is allowed to say a peep. You think average people don't see that? That was another moment for a lot of people that actually, I think, contributed to their distaste for Elon Musk. That was a major moment. I think normies saw that and were like, I am grossed out. I'm not on board with this at all. Because remember, normies hate Nazis. Even normies who have Nazi style politics literally still are taught at an early age to despise Nazis. Okay, partially because we fought them in World War II. It was the most honorable battle that we fought in our history since and certainly before and after. Okay, so when they see when they see the wealthiest person on the planet throw the double Sig Heil, and then they see institutions run to his defense because he's pro-Israel, I assume some people connect the dots, that this is not about anti-Semitism at all. You say that about everyone is the common attitude, okay? Anyone and everyone that says Israel, genocide that Israel is committing, I want to wash my hands clean of this nonsense. Anyone who says that is immediately tarred and feathered as an anti-Semite. You have diluted the impact of a real bigotry.